Hi guys, welcome to this session on Microsoft Excel. In this module, I want to look at ifs, nested ifs and a comparison, average ifs, CountIFS and SumIFS. So first off, ifs. Now I've got an example here where I've got an if statement at the top there where you can see if status equals red, you want it to say bad. If status equals yellow, you want it to say pending. And if status equals green, you want it to say good. So this is the status on these tasks. Whatever you put there, it will reflect it on the ifs statement. So let's just replicate that to the right. If I just type equals ifs, when you open the bracket, the little test comes on you. So the first test is, I've called this status, but I could just click on B2. So I'll say status, so it should pick it up and name range. Status is equal to red in quotes. If that's true, comma, that's going to be bad. So you put bad in quotes as well. And then it's the next one. So if status equals yellow, that needs to be in quotes as well, yellow, comma, and that's pending, so you put pending inside quotes, and then a comma for the third one. So status equals green in quotes, then comma, that is good. So an ifs statement is a lot simpler than a nested if, which predated it, which I'll show you in a second. So if I just double check this, click tick, and it just fills it down. And then if you change any of these statuses, change that to yellow, it should change that to pending. So see how that sits at the top there? Just fairly straightforward. There's the criteria, what to put if the criteria is true, and all the way along, and only one closed bracket. Now if I show you a nested if example on this sheet, so first of all, this area, these scores, I've named those score, and then this is how it works. You start off with just the if itself, no S. It says there, if the score is greater than 98, give them an A. Now normally on an if you would have a negative next, but on a nested if, you just put another if statement in there. So if the score is 90, give them a B. If it's 75, greater than 75, give them a C. If it's greater than 65, D. All the way along, greater than 50, give them an E. And then it's got a comma fail at the end. So if they don't get greater than 50, they're failing. Now the difference between this one and the ifs is that you then have to close all these brackets at the end. So you've got open bracket there, open bracket, open, 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 5 open brackets, so you need to put 5 closed brackets at the end. And if I change that figure there to 78, it works. Now you also have to have this in some sort of logical order, so I couldn't put the first figure as 50 and then the next figure as 70, because it would just stop on the first one. So this has to be, this example has to be in descending order for it to work how you would want it to work in a scoring system. So that's a nested if. Now average ifs, this is an example where I've got some figures set against north, south, east and west, and I want to know the average for the north. Just got a little drop down list there, or south, or whichever I select at the top. I want to know the average of figures that are greater than 0 but less than 1,000. So none of those figures are over 1,000 at the moment, so it's going to pick everything that's to do with the south, and it'll give you that list. So now this is slightly different. So you've got an average range, which in this case is the figures in column A, average range, and then your criteria range in this case is the north, south, east, west range. And then you are getting it to look at cell D1, which is this cell where the south is at the moment, and then the criteria is greater than 0, and the criteria is also less than 1,000. So if I just try and do that one, So it's equals average if, that one. So the average range is this one, comma, followed by the criteria range, which is this one, comma, by the first criteria, which is D1, comma, and then you're now going down this list again, wants to be greater than 0, so I'm just going to put that in quotes, greater than 0, and it also wants to be less than, in quotes, 1000, close quotes, close bracket. So that's the criteria. And then in this case, you've got it not set to pounds. I'll just set this to pounds or dollars, whichever you want. They're both looking at the same cell, and you can see that's how that works. You can use cell references for criteria. You can have multiple criteria. You don't have to stop with 2, and sometimes you don't need the second list. You don't always need a criteria list, but in this example we did, so that's how that would work. And then the next one along is CountIFS. So in this example, so you're counting how many items there are. This list is called post name. This list is called company. And what you have over here are some drop down lists. So data validation, that is, these are just basic data validation lists. If you don't know how to do that, I'll just type them in for this example, but you can select a list as well. So if I select a IT support manager and a company, it tells me how many there are in that company, 2. So the CountIFS works like this. CountIF post name is equal to F2 and company is equal to G2. So I'll just type this one out underneath so you can see that. So it's equals CountIFS. Then the criteria range is going to be post name. So post name, CountIF post name, comma, is this IT support manager, so it's F2, comma, and company, comma, is equal to G2, whatever goes in G2. So post name is equal to F2, company is equal to G2. Close the bracket, click the tick, comes up with the right number, 2. There you go, you just change them over and then that'll count them for you. There's no operation managers in B Brown. Ready go, I think it is. Yeah. So that's CountIFS, and then the last one is SumIFS. So in this one, this column is called company or companies. This column is called pass, and this is called fail, and this is called tutor. So at the top there, I've got a drop-down list with the tutors and a drop-down list with the companies. So if I select a tutor, Jones, and the company, Atmos or Amos, it tells me how many people passed that or failed that. So that's SumIFS as opposed to CountIFS. So if I type that underneath, equals SumIFS, open the bracket, the first thing you have to do is sum the range. So I'll do the passes, so we're summing the passes, comma, so the criteria range is, first one is tutor, so if tutor, comma, is equal to whatever goes in cell I2, comma, and company is equal to whatever goes in cell I3, I'm just going to put I3 there, it's picking up a name range there, so just type I3 in there. And then close the bracket on that, click the tick, comes up with the same figure as that. Now at the end there, I've just got a little trend line in there, a little spark line, that's what that is. So if I pull this one across, that'll just be a duplicate of that, and I can pull it across because I've used names. I don't need to worry about dollar signs. And then if you want to do a spark line, it's next to the graphs. Quite a few people get this in the wrong place, so I want the end to go there, and then I click OK, and it puts the spark line in there for me. And then you can tick these boxes if you want. You can change it to be a different type, but that's basically what that is at the end there, spark lines. Now these, to delete these, you can't just press the delete key, because these are like in the background of the cell, a bit like when you make a cell yellow, for example. If I press delete there, it doesn't delete the yellow, I have to clear it. Likewise with the spark line, you have to clear. So that's the end of this session, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for your time.